welcome to our YouTube channel. This is me, Nicky Sinha, and I am here with very interesting video today. So we all know that we have started with Unit 4, right? Unit 4 has all of your major dynasties of medieval India, and it also talks about the political and administrative aspects of those dynasties, right? So today's video is going to be really interesting, very useful, because you do get questions from here, so you must remember this in detail. So today we will be talking about the administrative officials under the Delhi Sultanate, all right? Now, the administrative officials under the Delhi Sultanate can actually be divided into two sections, okay? So administrative officials can be divided into two sections, all right? So one is at the center level, all right? So the officials who were there at the level of center, and the other one is at the level of provinces, okay? So in today's lecture, we will be covering the various officers who were working at the level of the center and what was their duty, okay? What were their roles and responsibilities is what we will be covering. So let's get started. Okay, the first officer that we have is the Wazir. Now again, the most important officer, you can say, equivalent to today's Prime Minister. The Chief Minister, who is in charge of revenue and finances. So you can see this is their main job. What is their main job? They're in charge of revenue. They're in charge of revenue collection, revenue record keeping, and obviously they're managing the finances of the entire empire. All right. Then we have Arzi Muamlik. So he is the head of the military department. Okay. So Arzi Muamlik is the Senapati, or you can say he is like the head of the entire military department. Sarva Sena Adhyaksh, that's what he is. So he heads the entire military department, be it cavalry, infantry, elephants, charioteers, etc. Everything is covered by him. Then we have the Qazi. So Qazi is the head of the judicial department. So Qazi is actually like a judge, okay? So he is heading what? He is heading the judicial department. Then we have Wakildar, all right? So Wakildar is basically controller of royal household. So the royal household also needs to be managed. The number of people employed, what their jobs would be, how to check their papers, are they loyal? Are they someone who you could trust? Are they here to kill? Are they here to kill the king? Are they here to kill the heir? There were so many things that need to be taken care of, isn't it? There's so many begums, so many women in the royal household. You have to look after each and every one of them as well. So who's in charge of that? So we have Wakildar, who is in charge of royal household. Then we have Baridi Muamlik. He is the head of state news agency. So he is responsible for keeping record of everything that happens in the empire, even in the distant provinces. So the news had to travel to him. He had to keep a record of whatever was happening, and he was responsible for keeping all of these news under him, and he was to keep record of the news. Okay. Then we have Amiri Majlis. He is in charge of royal feast and festival, which was quite common. So royal feast would be organized quite frequently. Now, organizing a royal feast and festival was not a small task. There would be thousands of people who would be invited. You have to make sure that their stay is proper, that too according to their position in the Delhi Sultanate court, according to their position, according to their hierarchy, according to their status. Then food had to be arranged, and these festivals could last a week to a month as well. See, all the arrangements had to be made. Next, we have Majlis-e Aam. So he is the council of friends and officers consulted on important affairs of the state. Okay. So what is Majlis-e-Aam? Majlis-e-Aam is the council of officer. All right. And he is consulted when important affairs of the state is to be dealt. All right. Now, since you can see the word arm here, arm basically means when the issues are related to the common people. So, when issues would be related to the common people, then this exact would be taken care of. This person would be responsible for taking care of that. Then we have Dahir-e-Mamlik, royal correspondence head. What do you mean by royal correspondence head? Now, the king, whenever he is writing a letter or whenever he is writing to someone, now he is not going to write his letters himself unless and until it's very personal. So, there was a person who was responsible for writing the king's letter, making sure these letters are reaching on time to the person who the letter has to reach. If it is confidential, he's going to make sure that it does not fall into the hands of anyone else. So he is the head of royal correspondence. All right. Okay. Then Naib Wazir, he is the deputy minister. All right. So he is someone who is just below the minister. Mushrif Muamlik, he is the accountant. So he's responsible for keeping the accounts of the entire empire. Amiri Hazib is responsible. He's in charge of the royal court. So the royal court, whatever is going to happen in the royal court, how many people will be stationed, how many guards will be stationed, when will the royal court convene, when will it end, the proceedings of the royal court, everything will be recorded and that would be under him. Then we have Sadar-us-Sudur. He is the minister of the Department of Religion, enforced Islamic norms and ensure that they were being strictly followed. Okay. So Sadar-us-Sudur was basically head of the religious department, right? They were to make sure that the Islamic laws were being followed. They were to make sure that the Islamic laws were being enforced. Fine. So, and if there was any discrepancy, if it was not followed or if people were going against it, then definitely it could be punished. Fine. Okay. Then we have Sadar-e-Jahan. He is in charge of religious matters and endowments. Now, you all know that the kings would be very interested in giving religious endowments to, various temples, to various mosques, to religious men, to Sufi saints. So, who's going to look after this? Who's going to prepare the papers? Who's going to suggest the land? So, that would be done by Sadar-e-Jahan. Then we have Amiri Dad. He is the public prosecutor. So who's the public prosecutor? So basically anyone who fights cases from the side of the common people. So that is what he is. Then we have Shahana-e-Pil. He is the superintendent of royal elephants. So royal elephants formed a very important part of the armed forces and also formed a very important part of the whole contingent of elephants who were accompanying royal people when they were going from one place to another. Remember, traveling at that point of time was not easy. So when you travel long distances, you needed elephants because then you could sit on it and they would also carry a lot of loads. Because when you're traveling with your entire household. You carry everything from bedding to lodging to your kitchen, everything you have to carry. So elephants played a very important role here. Okay. Then we have Amiri Bahar. He is in charge of police and transport naval port. So he is in charge of what? He is in charge of the police of the entire empire. So different people who would be working under him would be responsible for policing, for making sure that the law and order in the empire is being maintained. He is also responsible for naval port. So the people of Delhi Sultanate or the kings of Delhi Sultanate definitely had long distance trade relations, isn't it? So when they had long distance trade relations, you need to have your navy good and intact so that you can participate in it. Fine. And then who's going to look after it? It was the responsibility of Amiri Bahar. Then we have Qazi Muamlik. He is the Chief Justice. Like we have the Chief Justice of India. So he is like the head of all the judges. He is the supreme head of the judicial aspect of the empire. Then we have Qazi ul Qazat. So he is the head of the Chief Judicial Department. So there is a judicial department and then there is a Chief Judicial Department. And who is heading it? So we have, last but not the least, we have Qazi ul Qazat. He is the one who is heading the department. Now all of these are officers who are at the level of the center, right? In the next class, we will be taking a look at the officers who are working at the level of the provinces. Now, mostly it happens that the officers who are working at the level of the centers, you have a similar office or, you have a similar office at the level of the province also. Yes, there would be different people who would be working in that office. The functions are more or less the same. It's just that what differs is the level at which you work, okay? So the level at which you work is going to be different. Obviously, the level is going to be a little lower as compared to the center, but the work, the functions remains the same. And it's just that the people who are appointed at the provinces would be different, okay? So these were some of your officers who are working in the administrative setup of Delhi Sultanate in the center. Now you can see that this is a long list of officials, isn't it? It's important that you remember them because you can get questions from all of these places, okay? But I'm going to mark a few important ones which you must remember, okay? So Wazir, very important. Arzi Muamlik, very important. Qazi, very important, fine. And then Barid Muamlik, very important, fine. Okay, apart from this, Naib Wazir, alright, Mushrif Muamlik, okay, and Sadr-us-Sudr is also important. You know why this one is important? Because Sadr-us-Sudr in the Mughal administrative system means something completely different. In the Mughal administrative system, Sadr-us-Sadr is the Minister of Grants. So that is why you should remember it, because you can get questions like that as well. Okay. And in here, please remember the Qazi Muamlik, alright, and the Qazi ul Qazat. These are very important, fine. So when I'm saying important, it does not mean that you will not remember the rest of the names or the rest of the offices. Please do try to learn them as well. But these are the most important which you should know from your exam perspective. Okay. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Most importantly, I really hope this video was useful for you because I'm giving you a very concrete and information which you are bound to get in your exams, all right? So I'm really hoping that this video turns out to be really useful for you because you have all the information in one place here. If you have any doubts, any confusion, any questions, please feel free to address them in the comment section below and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you, all right? So till then, this is me, Nicky Sinha, signing off. Please take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.